Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something a lot of you building Tamiya kits probably wonder about, the ESC. Specifically, should you stick with the one in the box or look elsewhere?
Yeah, it's a common crossroads. That little box, the electronic speed controller, it's vital, right? It's the brain translating your remote signals into actual motor power.
Exactly. And we're going to look at a few key players. There's the Tamiya TBLE 02S, that's their hybrid one.
Right, brushed and brushless capable.
Yeah.
Then the TEU 105BK, the simpler Tamiya brushed ESC,
And compare them against a really popular aftermarket option, the HobbyWing Quick Run 1060.
which interestingly, Tamiya is now kind of putting in their own kits, rebranded as the THWDO 1060.
That is interesting. Tells you something right there. So let's dive in. Our mission here is to give you the info to pick the best ESC for your needs. Let's start with that Tamiya TBLE 02S. What's its main, purpose?
Well, its big draw is that flexibility. It can run standard brushed motors, got to be 25 turns or higher, mind you, but also Tamiya's own TBLM censored brushless motors, 10.5 turn or higher.
Okay, so it's meant as an upgrade path within the Tamiya system.
Exactly. Keep it all Tamiya if you go brushless later. Spec-wise, it runs on 6.6 to 7.2 volts, so your standard NMH packs or 2S Life batteries are good. Max current is 60 amps.
And the BEC, that's the bit that powers the receiver and servo, right?
Yeah, it's got a 6-volt, 1.5 amp BEC. It's implied to be linear, which isn't always ideal. It does have overheat, overload, and a life-low voltage cutoff.
Okay, wait. Life cutoff. What about LiPo batteries? So many people use LiPos now.
That's the kicker. It doesn't have a dedicated lipo low voltage cutoff. The life setting cuts off at 4.8 volts for a 2S pack.
Whoa, 4.8 volts. That's like 2.4 volts per cell. That'll kill a LiPo pretty quick, won't it?
Absolutely can. Running a lipo that low is really asking for trouble. Serious damage. It's a major weakness if you plan on using lipos.
Okay, good to know. What other downsides does the TBLE O2S have? You mentioned the BEC being linear.
Right. That 1.5 amp linear BEC is relatively weak. If you decide to upgrade your steering servo to something with more torque, it might struggle to provide enough power, leading to brownouts, like the receiver cuts out momentarily.
Not great, especially if you're mid-corner.
Yo. Plus, it's not waterproof.
Yeah.
The brushed motor limit is pretty restrictive. 25 turns minimum is quite mild, and people have reported it can overheat sometimes. Oh, and programming it involves button presses, which isn't the most intuitive compared to others. Plus, if you buy it separately, it's kind of pricey, like around $70 US.
Okay. So flexible for Tamiya brushless, but some real drawbacks, especially with lipos and servos. Let's shift to the other Tamiya option, the TEU 105BK. Sounds simpler.
Yeah, much simpler. It's a basic brushed-only ESC designed for standard 540 size motors, again, 25 turns or higher. You often find this one in their more entry-level kits.
And focused on NIMH batteries, I guess.
Definitely NIMH focused.
Yeah.
Same 6.6, 7.2 volt input, 60 amp max current, but the BEC is even weaker here, just 6 volts and 1 amp. Still linear, too.
1 amp. Wow, okay. That sounds marginal even for standard kit servos sometimes.
It really can be. Again, potential for servo issues. It has some basic heat and overcurrent protection and cutoffs for life and NEMH, but again, no proper LiPo cutoff. Absolutely not safe for LiPos.
And still no waterproofing, limited programming. Sounds pretty basic.
Very basic. And Tamiya USA actually lists it as discontinued now, though you might still get it in older stock kits. That 1 amp BEC is the real killer feature, and not in a good way.
Right. So probably one to avoid unless it comes free and you're sticking with NEMH in the stock motor servo.
Okay, let's talk about the big aftermarket player, the HobbyWing Quick Run 1060. Why is this one so popular?
The 1060. It's popular because, well, it just works really well and offers a ton of value. Great performance for brush setups, loads of useful features. It's known for being reliable, and the price is fantastic.
So it kind of became the standard upgrade for brushed cars.
Pretty much the go-to budget upgrade, yeah. And like we said, Tamiya basically validated that by releasing their own version, the THW 1060.
So what makes it so good? Specs? Okay, specs. It can handle a wider voltage range, 5 to 9 cell NAMH or 2S and 3S LiPo. That 3S capability is a big deal for more speed. Current rating is 60 amps forward continuous, 30 amps reverse. And the BEC, this is important. It's 6 volts, but a strong 3 amps, and it's a switch mode BEC.
Okay, switch mode versus linear. What's the practical difference there?
Big difference. Linear BECs basically burn off excess voltage as heat to get down to 6V. It's simple but inefficient and can overheat or struggle under load. A switch mode BEC, or SBS, is much more efficient. It actively regulates the voltage down, wastes less energy as heat, and can deliver that 3 amps much more reliably, even when the input voltage drops or the servo demands a lot of power.
So less chance of those brownouts we talked about.
Exactly. Much more stable power for your receiver and servo. Huge plus if you upgrade your servo.
Dang, what else?
Motor limit is way better too. On 2S LiPo, you can run brushed motors down to 12 turns. On 3S, down to 18 turns. So much hotter, more powerful motors than the Tamiya ESCs allow.
And more power options then.
Yep. And it's waterproof. Big one for bashers or anyone running in, damp conditions.
That is a major advantage, all-weather running.
Definitely. It also has proper low-voltage cutoff protection, selectable for LiPo or NIM-MH, using simple jumpers on the ESC itself. So safe LiPo use is built in. Overvoltage, overheat, signal loss protection too. Programming is done with those little jumpers, select battery type, and running mode like forward brake or forward brake reverse. Very simple.
And the price?
Usually somewhere between $21 and $30 US. Incredible value for what you get.
Wow. Okay, so let's quickly compare head-to-head. Waterproofing HobbyWing wins. Proper LiPo cutoff HobbyWing wins. BSE strength and type HobbyWing wins by a mile. Support for more powerful brushed motors, HobbyWing wins. 3S LiPo capability, HobbyWing wins. Price, HobbyWing wins.
Yeah, pretty much. For a brush setup, especially if you're using LiPo or want to upgrade your servo or motor or run in all conditions, the 1060 is objectively superior in almost every way.
What are the actual downsides then? Anything?
Well, it's brushed only. No path to brushless with this ESC. The jumper programming is simple, which is good, but you can't fine-tune things like drag brake strength like you can on some fancier ESCs.
Okay.
And the standard HobbyWing version usually comes with a Dean's T-plug for the battery. If your Tamiya kit or batteries use the Tamiya white plug, you'll need an adapter, or you'll need to solder a new connector.
But the Tamiya rebranded THW 1060 solves that, right?
Yeah.
It comes with the Tamiya plug.
Correct. The THW 1060 variant Tamiya includes is basically the Quick Run 1060, but with a Tamiya battery connector already fitted, so they've made it easy. Wires might be a touch shorter sometimes, but usually not an issue.
So Tamiya, including that THW 1060, really is a big nod to the HobbyWing strengths. It kind of says, this is the standard now for brushed.
It really does seem that way. So if you're sticking with brush motors, the HobbyWing 1060, whether the standard one or the THW version, just offers so many advantages, particularly around safety with LiPos, reliability with better servers, and all-weather use.
So the TBLE O2S really only makes sense if you are absolutely set on using a Tamiya censored brushless motor down the line, and you're willing to live with its limitations, especially the LiPo-Bec issues.
That's pretty much the situation, yeah. It keeps you in the Tamiya ecosystem, but you sacrifice quite a bit in terms of modern features and robustness compared to the HobbyWing for brushed use. And the TEU 105BK, well, it's just outdated tech now, honestly.
Okay, so how should you, the listener, choose? What are the key decision points?
You need to ask yourself a few things. 1, how important is kit authenticity? Do you want everything Tamiya? 2, are you definitely planning a Tamiya censored brushless upgrade later? If not, the TBLE O2S loses its main advantage.
3, what's your budget? The HobbyWing is cheaper up front and potentially saves you hassle later.
4, how are you going to drive? Just casual runs or more demanding batching, maybe some light crawling or racing. 5, what batteries? NIM-MH is fine for the Tamiya ESCs, but if you're using LiPo, the HobbyWing's LVC is much safer.
6, are you planning to upgrade the steering servo? If yes, that stronger HobbyWing BEC is really appealing.
7, do you want to run in the wet or through puddles? Waterproofing on the HobbyWing is key. 8, do you want to try faster, lower-turn brushed motors? Again, HobbyWing has better support.
Makes sense. Like for a TT02 road car, maybe the included THW 1060 is perfect. For a CC01 trail truck.
That waterproofing and better BEC on the 1060 would be brilliant. Even for fun stuff like a lunchbox or pumpkin, if you run LiPo, the 1060 is just a more robust and safer choice. Vintage re-releases often came with the TEU 105BK. Swapping to a 1060 is a very common and smart upgrade there.
Okay, great breakdown. So just to wrap it up, the Tamiya TBLE O2S is really for that specific niche wanting a Tamiya-only path to their censored brushless motors, accepting the compromises, but for almost any other brushed application.
The HobbyWing Quick Run 1060 or the Tamiya THW 160 version is likely the better choice. Safer, stronger, more capable, waterproof, and better value.
Right. So here's a final thought for you to ponder. Seeing a classic brand like Tamiya, known for its specific ecosystem, adopting a component like the HobbyWing 1060, what does that tell you about balancing maybe brand loyalty versus just picking the best tool, the best feature set for the job? Not just in RC, but maybe in other tech choices you make. Something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.